Alright guys, welcome back to the KCCR. On this episode, we're going to go over Torchlight II. It's a fairly old game, it's not necessarily new, but I enjoy it, and it has character creation, so it is applicable to be covered. So yeah, well, I guess let's go on. When you first start the game, this is the screen you're brought to. You've got some stuff up here, cinematics, credits, and you've got some option settings and whatnot that you can mess around with, but none of that's relevant to what we're doing, so load, resume, and new game. We'll hit new game. Now, you're brought to, let's go ahead and click this. You're brought to the character creation screen immediately upon hitting a new game. You're not given a cutscene right there or anything, which is nice. So let's go with classes, as this is what you have first. You have Ember Mage, Berserker, Engineer, and Outlander. Now, ignore this spirit right here, and Necromancer. Now, Necromancer is not in the base game, but I'll explain that in a second. So you've got, ignoring Necromancer, 4 base classes. Your Ember Mage is a typical mage, which has skills that revolve around Arcane. I believe their trees are Arcane Fire and Ice, or something like that. It's pretty straightforward. They really do feel like what you expect them to do. Mages. They've got a Berserker, which I honestly don't know anything about, so I can't really help out in trying to define the class at all. Same with Engineer and same with Outlander. Outlander has the ability to use magic to an extent like the Ember Mage does, but they're more of a roguelite type class. Either way, it's a shame I can't give you more definition of these because I haven't tested them myself, and so all I can really say is if you like what you see here, then try the game. It's super enjoyable. Now you've got male and female for all classes. There's no gender lock on any of them, so that's good. And last I checked, and if I recall, being male or female doesn't have any applicable change to the stats you choose, so you can definitely choose what you want. You've got your face, which alright, it has a certain amount. Now the problem with this is I actually have some mods installed which don't really add a bunch, but what they do is they make all hairstyles from things accessible to other stuff, like this I recall was Outlander specific, but now you can have that hairstyle as any of these. Same with like the skin color and the faces. So that's all this really does, is it allows the use of all these. So I mean, I can cycle through them or whatever if you really wanted. There's a few amount of dark skin colors and light skin colors of hair. There's a lot of different types, hair color and whatnot. So yeah, we'll just click Ember Mage for now. We'll hit next. Now you're brought to your pet screen. Pets play a pretty dramatic role in Torchlight II. In the form of, you can send them to town to sell excess loot from your inventory. You drag the items into their inventory and click a button that's like home, and they go and sell it and bring you back the money. The general time between is like, it can range from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, 30, 40, 50, and I believe you can enhance them with certain types of items. They have the role of, they're a combat companion and a steady companion throughout the game. They have health and stats equal to yours, and they keep the same level you do, and they, you know, they're pretty good in that regard, and you can give them collars and whatnot. I'll show you that once I log into my character, and then you'll get a better overall of that. I have more here than are usually accessible from the start because of a mod, but from the start you have like that, you have the cat, the Chakwari, direwolf, and like the ferret and the hawk and whatnot. So yeah, now I'm gonna use, it seems really basic right here, but I found that there's actually, let's click back, a fair amount of options in terms of like face and hairstyles and whatnot that you can definitely make a character you like the appearance of, and you're not necessarily stuck with having to use certain weapons on certain classes. You can actually use anything. It's a dungeon crawler based game, not unlike Diablo and whatnot, where the weapons usable are really only relevant to the stats that you've decided to allocate towards your class. Obviously, let's say if you're an Ember Mage and you allocate strength, That may not necessarily be as good as allocating focus, I think is what they call it. Pretty much your intelligence. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back, and I'll sign into my character and show you a bunch of stuff. Alright, so we're back, and this is my character. We're gonna go ahead and ignore like the levels and the fact I have like all the skills and whatnot. I've been using the same character. So first I guess we're gonna cover the fact that he's a necromancer. Now you might go, well, necromancer isn't accessible in my game. Is it DLC? No, it's not. It's a modded class that was really well fleshed out, and there's other classes that are modded, such as ninjas, other forms of mages, ranger type stuff. I believe you can just look up the mod DB via Google and find the Torchlight II area. They're pretty simple to install, and by doing so you have access to other classes. You can put items, certain things like inventory tweaks, whatnot. Pets, as you can see, I have her trolling around over there. She's gorgeous. So you can do that, and it adds a lot of variety to the game if you don't want to be stuck with one of the 4 basic classes. Albeit the 4 ones are still fine on their own, but having played Ember Mage quite a bit, I decided I wanted something different, and I'm really not into anything that isn't magey. So that being said, this is the skill screen. Each class has a different one, and these are usually based on what level you are. Now, if you aren't at the level to have a skill, it'll be like next, it'll say something like right here, next level, blah blah blah, and then you got to get to that level. Like most games, and just pop points. There are mods that take that away if you so inclined, if you feel so inclined to use them. I can't tell you not to do so or to do so, because that's really a personal preference. But yeah, you have 3 talent trees, generally speaking. The Necromancer has, what do you have? Death skills, undead. The Ember Mage has like some that focus on, fuck, I can't remember. I'll sign in to the Ember Mage after this and give you guys a general overview. But by putting points into this, you acquire, you know, you rank them up. The max ranks are 15, and every, I believe it's 5, every certain amount of skills you put in, you get tiers, 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, depending on what tiers you have, it changes the effects of the spells and whatnot. Cool thing about this is your character, you can set any spell you want to your left mouse, because you left mouse to move, and right mouse is your attacks. You can set those down here by clicking this, and any spell you've learned up here that isn't a passive you can put down here. So like this, or fucking this, and you click wherever you click, it'll be whatever. And if you have a melee skill such as, do I even have one? I don't think I have a, I don't seem to... there we go. It'll just swing the weapon from where you're standing. You hold it down to continuously attack and whatnot. It's all pretty straightforward. And if you click on an enemy, and if you hold shift and do it, you can do it without moving. See? Holding shift and left clicking allows you to do auto attack. You can also attack a creature just by left clicking on it, and you'll run up and start smacking them around. Okay, that being said, that about covers how skills work. You have stats. As I said before, ignore the numbers. Either way, strength, dexterity, okay, so it was focus, vitality. These are pretty self-explanatory. When you hover over them, they show you what they do. Strength, dexterity, fumble is pretty much glancing blows for all intents and purposes. Focus is all your magic, and vitality is obviously, you know, the more you have, the better your health and armor and shit like that is. You've got your experience bar up here, which is regular, and then you've got fame. Fame counts as another form of a level up. When you max that, you gain skill points and whatnot, stat points too. Typical HP MP bar, which is located here. Now if you can see right here, I have, oh no, I'm sorry, yours is located here. I'm done. This is stuff in your skill bars. This is your pets up here. As I said, they can die. They share your stats. You can set them to aggressive, defensive, or do fuck all. If you click the pet menu here, you can see you have a bunch of different, I believe this gear stuff is added via mods, but it may actually be there by default. I don't remember, but these are there by default, I know. Collars. You can put a bunch of different collars on your pets, and that'll give them stuff like health absorption, or poison damage, or all sorts of nice little jibbly bit stuff. This is the pet inventory, so like if I were to open this and drag, say, what is even that? I don't know what that is. Is this stat Let's drag that there. I can now send her to town, and she'll sell that. So by clicking this here, let's go ahead and see. So she'll be back in 41 seconds with however much money that will make. And you can still look at her stats and whatnot here. Generally up here is what type of armors they have. This is their health and MP. And you can, let's recall her. And then you have your returns return. Yeah, I get it. You have consumable inventory, which is like potions and shit, because gear takes its own place, and then consumables. You have spell inventory. This is where scrolls go, and you have the same one. You have the same one down here. You can teach yourself 4 different spells. These are different from your class mechanics. These are all spells that are based in the game and whatnot. You just get the scroll, use it, and if you meet the prerequisite level, you can put it on one of the 4 slots here, and you can always change it by clicking this, clicking the spell, and deleting it. So it's pretty straightforward. Notice I have a bunch of different stuff right here I can use. So you just, like I said, you just double-click it, and no, you right-click it, I'm sorry, and there you go, I learned a new spell, so that's accessible from, see, and there you go. Well, some of these guys. It's pretty straightforward, and you can do the same thing with your pets. And they will use these spells periodically, and they're pretty good with them. If you give them a heal, they'll keep themselves, and you topped up. If you give them, like, fireballs, they'll use them when they can. And ice balls, there's a bunch of different types, and there's passives, like I have this, which pretty much just decreases pet time and increases pet damage and stuff. It's all pretty straightforward. Now, let's cover gear, because that's something people are interested in. Being that this, okay, where is the fucking gear? Alright, inventory. Being that this is a game, a dungeon crawler game, it very much revolves around the ability to acquire and find gear. Which means you aren't going to start the game wearing stuff that you like the way it looks, because, let's be honest, most starting equipment is ugly. But you go throughout the dungeons and regular drops, and you can find them in chests and just laying all over the place, like... But I don't want to walk around because I don't want to start fighting. And you just break it and you get them. You have to identify stuff, so notice this bow is not identified. Do I have identify scrolls? Notice I have some. So if I were to take that and right-click on this, there you go, I've now identified that bow. Screambringer. You know, there you go. It shows you the level required to use or the stat required. So there's 2 ways, a bunch of different ways of doing items and gear. By that I mean 2 ways. You have your typical level of what you can meet, and there you go, or you can meet the stat requirement. Sometimes the stat requirement is easier to come by than the levels, but being that certain items, like take a look at Dragonborn right there, Legendary Staff, which is just a modded item, don't worry about it. Strength, Dexterity, Focus, Vitality. Some classes don't necessarily have to rank other stuff, so you can focus on one thing. By doing that, though, you would have to meet the level requirement. And as you can tell by looking at Dragonborn, you see set. Incognito. That's because, depending on the amount of pieces you have, you gain the bonuses. Typical like World of Warcraft or any, actually I don't know if WoW does it, but many of the games, most dungeon crawlers do this, where you have a set of armor and if you have the full set, blah blah blah, things happen. It's all pretty cool, guys. Who doesn't afraid of anything? You have the option of hiding a headpiece, which is nice for those of you who like or do not like headpieces. You have slots, and by going to enchanters and slot, I forget what they're called, it's a guy who allows you to apply slots to items. I think the max you can have is 3. And by doing that, you can put gems in. If you notice, I have a giant blood ember. 58 health recovery per second. That just enhances my natural health regen. It's all pretty good stuff. Depending on the weapons you use, you can have a shield. Two-handed weapons you generally can't have a shield with when you use them, but one-handed or... You know, it's all pretty straightforward. I can't even try to pretend like I'm the most genius in the world for explaining this stuff. That about covers it, because we don't do much gameplay, we do character creation. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. Let me just go ahead and put my skills back on. Alrighty. Yeah, as I said, you get skills and stats, and every level up you get these points, and you can put them in wherever the hell you want. There you go, you get your quest window here, and you got the mini-map and all that jazz. That about covers it, everybody. Torchlight 2. Now, most games I'm able to give you a, oh look at that, Skype. Most games I may be able to give you a general rating of. Torchlight II falls under the category of games I can't actually give you a rating of because in and of itself it's a type of game which usually doesn't have character creation, like take Diablo 2 or Diablo in general. You have a preset class you can be, but you really can't change their appearance. So I would definitely say if you're into dungeon crawlers or adventure type games like this, your old school mouse to move around stuff, and you like character creation, Torchlight 2 is pretty fun. It's got a pretty in-depth storyline, but its character creation is satisfying. And if you add modded classes, which is pretty easy to do, then you have a whole lot more options. As always, thank you for watching, everybody, and once again, you know what to do.